And welcome to the second hour of Saturday Report. I am Rita Cosby. We have a lot going on this hour. But first, a key victory. Karol Nawrocki winning Poland's presidential election with almost 51% of the vote in an extremely tight race against a liberal candidate who received about 49%, according to the final count. Trump-backed Nawrocki will succeed the great President Andrzej Duda, whose term ends in August. Now, Nawrocki's win is setting the country on a more conservative course and will keep the very close ties with the Trump administration. And here to discuss is the former Prime Minister of Poland, our dear friend and America's friend, Mateusz Morawiecki. It is such an honor to have you here, Mr. Prime Minister, in New York. What a privilege.
Thanks for having me. It's so great to be here with you, Rita.
You know, this is so exciting.
Yes.
This big win, and it was razor thin as we just saw the results there.
It was, but because of all the liberal leftist money involved on the side of our liberal opponent, there were millions of dollars flowing to his political camp to support him. So if not this, the victory would have been even bigger, would be 55-45. So it's great new era starting for Poland.
Tell us about Nawrocki. He's an interesting guy, a young guy. He's 42 years old.
42 years old.
Former boxer. Tell us who he is with the world. We saw him in the Oval Office. He met with President Trump.
He did,
but still a new face and a new face also in Poland in many ways.
Absolutely, yes. He is a very patriotic type of guy, Republican, and he truly believes in sovereign states type of European Union, and a great believer in Polish-American friendship, Polish-American relationship. So he will do everything possible for this left and leftist liberal government, which is still in office in Poland, to not to destroy the Polish-American relations. As we know, Donald Tusk, our prime minister today, my successor, he is not so much a believer in Polish-American relationship. So Karol Nawrocki will be a balanced counterweight to all the leftist elite in Poland.
Yeah, it's a very important message too, because had it gone the other way, it would have really changed the course of history. I believe not just in Poland, but in Europe, because Poland is such a pivotal role.
I just can give you an example. Intermarium, 3Cs initiative, so important for eastern flank of NATO, supported by President Trump, but also this was the first term of President Trump when we would have started this with his presence in Warsaw. And this current government, my successors, completely stopped and boycotted this project, which is completely wrong, not in line with our strategy, not in line with the security requirements. So now Karol Nawrocki will be able to reinvigorate this project. This is why I'm so enthusiastic about his victory.
You know, I'm very sentimental to see you because, of course, my father was a Warsaw uprising. Your father, by the way, was a great hero in solidarity in the movement.
Yes.
You were a student, a protester too,
that's
yourself.
Correct. I'm so proud of my father, but I'm also so proud of your father. He was a freedom fighter in Poland and great man.
Which is why I care so much about the country too. And you talked about President Trump doing that speech. I think about when he did the speech there, and it was, of course, in that very pivotal area, right near the sewer where my father escaped. He talked about the history of Poland and how Poland's always been first to fight, to stand up against freedom. The new president who's coming in August, Karol Nawrocki, he is from the Institute of National Remembrance. He appreciates this history. Talk about how important that is for Poland, but also for America, to that bond.
That's very important, Rita. I can tell you, but the history is very important, but the future is even more important for him, for us. And what's very important about him is that he would understand completely how important the geopolitical shifts are, which we face today. We know that the United States has to revert a little bit to Indo-Pacific area, and And this is why the resources are always scarce. And this is why the United States needs such an indispensable ally as Poland. And this is while I was Prime Minister, we were able to dedicate the highest amount of money on defense amongst all the 32 member states of NATO. And it's so important to continue this, but I regret to say that my successors now are not so much into nurturing the Polish budget and keeping an eye on the Polish budget, and they have the biggest budget deficit in the recent times, and this worries me as well.
Well, it shows what a difference elections make, as you talk about, and how pivotal the course would have been. You talked about also the expenditure. I know it's 4.2%.
Yes.
The goal is 5%. I can't think of a more important area, especially right now. It's something President Trump has pushed for, too.
Yes.
But you are right there. As I have been to Poland many times, Ukraine is right there on the border. You understand the importance of peace through strength. Talk about that.
Absolutely. If not Poland and the United States, of course, there would not be any sovereign Ukraine, fighting Ukraine. This was so important that very quickly after the Russian attack on Ukraine, together with the American army, basically, we were able to prepare this logistics hub, and we were able to support Ukraine, to supply Ukraine with weapons from Poland, from all over the globe. Right now, they are keeping up the fights with the Russians, but they were able to survive thanks to the United States and thanks to Poland. This is what the Polish-American alliance can do.
Yeah, there's incredible friendship, and I'm so glad that that friendship is going to continue, because it's not just good for America and Poland, but for the world.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be stronger with Karol Nawrocki, and hopefully in 2 years' time we will be back in power, because the government in our system, in our political system, is equally important, so to say, if not more important from the executive power point of view than president. But president is extremely important as well, and it's such a new era coming to Poland with the victory, landslide victory of Karol Nawrocki against all odds.
Against all odds.
Absolutely.
Well, he's a boxer, so he fought to the finish, right?
And we all supported him.
And by the way, you two, you were an incredible supporter of his, an incredible prime minister too, as well.
Thank you.
And you also wear another hat too. Talk
That's
about
correct.
that. And you're going to, part of the reason you're here in New York, but you're also heading to DC.
Yeah.
You're going to speak at the Heritage Foundation. Talk about your other hat and also how important that's going to be.
My other hat is the European Conservatives, which is, I'm president of ECR, European Conservatives and Reformists, which is a European version of Republican Party, so to say. And being president of this party, I try to reinvigorate the conservative Republican movement all across Europe.
You have done that.
At least partially, yes. I was with my friend Giorgia Meloni in Italy. We are working hand in glove to fight all those madness and, you know, the Green Deal in Europe and the illegal migration all over the place. By the way, Poland was standing very firmly against illegal migration when Lukashenko and Putin tried to instrumentalize people from Middle East and push them to a Polish border.
You understand how it is to protect borders.
And how important this is here in the United States as well.
Very
Absolutely. Much. And you asked also about me being in DC at Heritage Foundation with keynote speech. This is about IMEC. This IMEC is India, Middle East, European corridor, Europe corridor, a very important new corridor, trade corridor, a kind of competition to the Belt and Road Initiative of China. And we know how important it is to build such a counterweighting powers new initiatives, because we really need the United States and the whole the Atlantic world, well, together with India and other democracies in the world, to work closely together to build an alliance of freedom, security, and stability.
Right. Look for those alternatives. And boy, is that key right now with everything going on in the world.
China, Russia, Iran. This is the alternative.
This is huge. So well, we are so honored to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Mr. Prime Minister, you're always a Prime Minister, Mateusz Morawiecki. And wonderful to have you here in America. And congrats to Poland. And our fathers are smiling from above.
Absolutely.
It's a blessing to have you. What an honor.
You,
Thank you. Such a blessing. Thank you so much.